So this is a project that goes, then, if we look it through those lenses, this is a project that goes way beyond just the occupation of land, right? This is a project that entails also the imposition of a so-called or supposedly universal visual, auditory, semantic language. This is a key component of this project. It is a strategy for the homogenization of systems of thought and modes of acting, as well as the imposition of aesthetic regimes. So it is through the imposition of such languages that non-Western materialities and subjectivities and systems of knowledge and culture are expropriated, then leaving Western Europe as the sole narrator of history. So in this sense, this symbolic violence, that we could call an epistemic violence, right? So this violence is visited upon colonized peoples and is also enacted by design. So in this sense, we can understand design both as we can understand this epistemic violence both as a deliberate project of coloniality and as something enacted by the discipline of design. So and here we're getting to the idea of education, right? So while the decolonization of design education does, of course, need to address the necessity for inclusion and inclusion of material practices and also the subjects performing said practices, it cannot just stop there. It cannot be just some push towards diversity, and rather it needs to unravel a whole new set of questions about the systems in which material practices situate themselves in order to be framed as design. So we need to understand that the word decolonizing is not a qualitative modifier of design in the same way that product design or graphic design or digital design or service design, et cetera, might be. There cannot be a decolonizing design which merely kind of cleans out the colonial bits and pieces of the field and then delivers, like a service or product, a guilt-free decolonized version of what design supposedly is. Decolonization cannot be briefed, it cannot be prototyped, it cannot be user tested or mass produced. That goes against the very idea of decolonization. And in fact, to begin the work of decolonizing design implies, in different fronts and with different tools, challenging what it is that design defines itself with in order to deconstruct it and build it anew. So in order for us to address then the coloniality of and in design, we must challenge the idea that constitutes design as a specific set of material practices, which is in its core enunciation distinct from non-Western material practices. These defined by the modern epistemological apparatus of craft and tradition and non-design. It's not enough then to merely include these practices. I'm doing a bunch of scare quotes here. It's not enough then to just like include these practices that were relegated to this this position of a non-design, because these will be inevitably inserted within the very same systems that excluded them in the first place. They will be ingrained into the colonial and neoliberal model and therefore contribute to its own perpetuation. And this is very much like capitalism works, right? By even absorbing and spitting out even revolutionary discourse as a commodity. And we've seen that so many times, I think, in so many different variations and so many, so many different flavors, to be honest.